The Bible isn't just a book of random stories. It's 66 different books that come together to tell one story. An incredible one. About God's love for us. And now for an amazing story. Inspired by the book of John, chapter 13.
Peter hurried to set out pottery dishes as John placed unleavened bread around the table.
How did Jesus know some random guy with a water jar would have an open guest room for the Passover meal?
I don't know. He just knows.
No one has an open guest room at Passover.
Both men paused to look around the airy upper room. The long table was surrounded by rough cushions where Jesus and his friends would sit.
Yet, here we are.
There they come. Quick!
The two men rushed to finish setting out the meal.
Did we think of everything?
Hey, we've worked hard. If anything's missing, someone else can deal.
As the setting sun angled through the window, Jesus and the rest of his disciples filed in. Everyone was tired from a long week of noisy crowds and a long trek down the dusty roads.
Jesus, you sit right here at the head of the table. James, Judas, over there.
As Peter and John found their places, Peter wrinkled his nose.
What reeks?
It's your feet.
My feet? Ugh, no, it's yours.
Look, everyone's feet are disgusting. You know what Jerusalem's streets are like?
I'd rather not think about it.
There's a basin under the window. We just need a servant to wash our feet.
A servant? You think we would be making dinner if there was a servant around?
Peter glanced down the table.
James!
Why did you put me over here? I should be sitting right by Jesus.
We need you to wash everyone's feet.
Me? You do it.
We already made dinner.
James turned to the man on his other side.
Judas, foot washing, get on it.
Hello, can you not see I'm busy counting our money? Important work.
Okay, so who's least important?
They scoped out the other side of the table.
Thaddeus. No one ever remembers Thaddeus.
Hey, Thaddeus.
John jabbed an elbow into Peter's side.
Peter, look.
John gestured to the head of the table. Before the disciples had even begun arguing, Jesus had risen to his feet and took off his outer robe. Then he'd found a towel and wrapped it around his waist.
What is he doing?
I don't know. Washing his hands, maybe?
Jesus poured water into the basin beneath the window.
Jesus? What are you doing?
Jesus knelt down beside Thaddeus. He removed his sandals and began washing the cake mucked off of the man's feet.
He can't do that. You can't do that.
Jesus dried Thaddeus's clean feet with the towel and moved on to Bartholomew.
We should have done it. This is our fault.
Well, he can't wash my feet.
Jesus continued around the table, washing and drying each man's feet. At last, he got to Peter.
Lord, are you going to wash my feet?
You don't realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand.
Peter tucked his feet up under him, dirt and all.
No way. You will never wash my feet.
Unless I wash you, you can't share life with me.
Peter blinked. He'd spent the last 3 years with Jesus, sharing everything. If he had to let Jesus wash his feet to continue, well, that's what he'd do.
Lord, not just my feet.
Peter untucked his feet and laid out his hands too.
Wash my hands. And my head too.
Jesus smiled and started rinsing Peter's feet.
People who have had a bath need to wash only their feet. The rest of their body is clean, and you are clean.
Peter nodded and held his tongue for once. When Jesus was finished, he shrugged back on his robe and found his place at the table.
Do you understand what I have done for you? I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet. So you also should wash one another's feet.
Okay, I claim next time.
I don't think it's a competition.
Now you know these things, so you will be blessed if you do them.
The disciples nodded. Jesus had made it clear that the goal of God's kingdom wasn't competing to be important. It was choosing to serve. Jesus had turned everything upside down.